Hi, this is Eric Martin, news editor at Board Game Geek. I'm here, Origins 2013, at the Cool Mini or Not booth with Michael Chanal, who's going to give an overview of Kaosball.
Hello there, Eric. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, general overview of Kaosball. Here we have the fantasy game of extreme sports violence. Just going to give a general overview of some of the components we have here. Here are the team models. There are various teams in the game. These two out here are going to be the Ogres and the Fangs. Each team is going to have runners and bruisers, different model sculpts right here, as you can see. I'm going to try not to get in your camera way too much there. In addition to those, we have ringer models, which these are basically paid players that any team can draft onto before the game begins. So any team can make use of those. Components, we have, of course, the field, the Kaosball board right here, which, as you can see here, will hold up to 4 players, 4 teams playing at the same time. But this is the actual field that the game will take place on, where all the fantasy violence will be going down. We have cards here, which is basically going to be composed of cheating cards. These are actually effects you can play during the game. They're going to give you slight to major edges over the opponent, but like every good sports game, you don't want to get caught cheating too much. But you know what? We have the ability to bribe the ref in case that happens. It's actually a key component of the game. We have tactics cards that you can play as well, which are going to give you some different options and change the general flow of gameplay for your benefit or your opponent's detriment. We have the ringer cards, which of course will display all of their special abilities. Each team has their own special team ability that is unique to them. Ringers basically have ability themselves as well, which is unique to them. If you look on here, though, the full version of these will actually be magnetic stripped cards. So before the game actually begins, you're going to have what's called a pregame draft, in which case you're going to use your team's funds for various bonuses before the game actually sets up. One of the major things you're going to be getting is actually tactics that you can buy before the game begins to actually change how your team is going to play on the field. You're going to have a pregame draft for that. You and all opponents are going to bet off for who is going to get those abilities. You're going to start betting on ringers as well. They are purchased at the collective pool before the game. So basically, if you really want the dragon on your team, someone else might have scouted or tried to recruit him as well. So it's actually going to start a bidding war that you and your opponent are going to have to start anteing up so you get some. The important thing, though, is not to spend all your money in one area. You've got to balance it between team upgrades, ringers, and also saving some money to, of course, pay off the ref as the game is going on. Because, again, getting caught cheating is just not something any team wants to have happen to them.
So what's the basics of gameplay here? What are we actually doing on a turn? We got the score chart here. How are we scoring?
So basically, if you look at the mat right here, we have the field. The ball is actually going to start in the center field right here. I'm sorry, 1 second.
I think he's going to get the ball. I'm not sure. I'm not sure make the ball. I can imagine the ball walking off easily here. We just have a stand-in ball.
We have a stand-in. This is not nearly as impressive as will be in the base game, but we have a token at the moment. So basically, the goal of the game is you're trying to get the ball and land on a scoring zone. The scoring zones are set up here in the center of the field, with a major scoring zone being across your direct opponent's line of scrimmage. So again, we have 2 types of models. We have runners and we have bruisers. Runners are the kind that can actually go up there and score. So runner can run up, pick up the ball, and they're trying to either land on one of these areas right here or land to the major point over here. Bruisers are going to be acting as their linebackers, their defensive linemen, their offensive linemen, basically every other role in that. Their goal is to, well, bruise the enemy team, protect the runners. And unlike some other sporting events, violence is heavily encouraged in Kaosball, and killing of the opponent's team is a viable tactic to win. And again, it is heavily encouraged. So the ref is not going to penalize you for going up and just straight up curb stomping someone to death. You're actually going to get points rewarded to it during the halftime and the end of the game for doing so. But basically, once a runner has possession of the ball, the opposing team is trying to wrangle that ball away from him. That's done via a series of either trying to steal it with other runners, tackle them with the bruisers, or straight up attack them with bruisers as well. If you'll go back to the team card here, you'll see each team has stats that they're good in some areas and not so good in other areas. The Ogres here, their stats are kind of baseline across the board, but their runners and their bruisers have more health than most any other team. And of course, that nasty little team ability, they're just going to basically stomp their way through the enemy, knock everyone aside when they're trying to score. Meanwhile, you have the Fangs here, which, again, don't have as much health as the Ogres, but are fantastically good at tackling and decently good at fighting. Their handling is only subpar, though. It's on average with every other team. Their ability, though, is any time that they actually deal tackle or attack a enemy team, they're going to heal. They're the only team currently in the game that can actually do that effect. So they're all about getting down and dirty in the field. The cards here are also nice for the team cards, as they have over here. They basically show you all the modes that a figure can do. When you activate a model, it can sprint any figure, which is move 5 squares. You can tackle it if you're a bruiser, which you're attempting to knock down the opposing model, which is going to take them out for that round, or attack them, which your end goal in that is, of course, to kill them. But you might have to whittle them down. Damage for most teams will not heal over the course of the game, so once the guy's hurt, he's going to keep getting hurt until he gets killed. So you're going to have to make that choice whether you want to keep him in the game because you really need that model, or bench him for the time being. And of course, throwing all this into the mix, you have ringers, who again, they are basically the savants of Kaosball. They are both runners, they are both bruisers. They can fill any position on the board, and every team wants to have at least one on their roster. They're going to add some major dynamics to change how the team plays. And of course, adding all this, you have tactics cards to throw your opponent through a loop, and you have cheating cards. But now you have one other type of card right here, which we haven't shown so far. These are energy cards. And basically what these are used for is anytime you are starting a contest with an opposing opposing model, which is basically how you're going to resolve tackles and attacks, you and your opponent are going to secretly choose an energy card and place it face down. So let's go for an example right here. We have the Ogres, who are going to attempt to tackle down one of the Fangs. Well, the Ogres have a base tackle of +0, the Fangs have a base tackle of +2. So the Fangs are currently in the lead right there. What both players are then going to do is going to take from their hand one of a card in secret and place it face down on the field. And then they're both going to reveal and add that number to their total right here. So in case here, the Fangs have revealed a 2. They have a tackle of a +4 total. The Ogres would have a +3. They unfortunately did not generate enough energy to complete the play. The Fangs won that. Another important dynamic to note is it's not just playing cards down. Once you put down an energy card, it stays on the field from your hand. As the round is going on, you've now played your 2 energy card. If you play another +2 energy card that round, it's burned. It's considered dead. It is worth 0 points. So there's a huge bluffing element that comes into play for this game. Because basically, if you've drawn a hand and you have nothing but a bunch of +2 and +3 energies, the second time you play +2, it's worth 0. So you've got to really manage your hands and really kind of psych out your opponent here to think, well, I really want to get this play done, but it's not important. So I'm going to make him think I'm going to burn my high-cost energy and just bluff him out. Oh, I flipped my +1, it's done. And now I'm going to move over here to get my +5 going. But now, the same way, you can look at your opponent and go, he's already played his +5, he's already played his +4, he's played his +3. The only thing he's going to have left is a cheating card or a +2 and a +1, if he's got any of those. So you kind of get a feel for, how your game's going to play out, but you never know if your opponent's going to be bluffing you. So just in like real football games or, sports games and that, your team can actually bluff out the opponent on plays. And that's a nice dynamic that you just don't see a lot in too many sports games.
Thanks very much, Michael, for the run through there. You can control the mic too. It's a good job. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and take care.